So I thought I told this years ago on this channel, but the other day I was in a Discord call with some friends of mine, and we were talking about our worst trips and some of our craziest trips. Just shooting the shit, talking to each other, telling stories. And I told this one story, and as soon as I was finished telling it, both of my friends were like, "Yo, you gotta tell that on your channel." And I was like, "I'm pretty sure I did." And they were like, "Well, double check, because that's a good one if you haven't." So later that night, I scrolled through my YouTube channel and kind of looked around, and I don't think I've told this one yet. So I'm going to talk about it. And this is one from my past where I was just a straight idiot. This is peak dumbass Luna. So I hope you enjoy it. Definitely reminds me of them 2015 days on this channel. Let's jump into it. So today's the story of how I tripped absolute balls on a school bus. Yeah, let me give some more context. All right, so the story time all takes place during my last year of high school. It was the beginning of the year, actually. I had just started high school. And like I said, I was peak dumbass Luna around this time. Even though I had a lot going for me, like YouTube and, a good future, I just for some reason was on my dumbass shit for some reason. So yeah. But one morning I wake up like any other day. I got up out of bed, ate a Pop-Tart because I was starving and, didn't have time to make breakfast. After that, just got ready for my day quickly, jumped on the bus, started my journey to school. And I don't know if you guys have the same system at your schools, but where I was, my school, the bus that would pick me up in the morning was actually different than the bus that would take me home. Back in the day, it used to be the same bus both ways with the same kids, but for some reason in my high school, once I got to high school, they moved me onto two separate buses, so my morning bus was different than my afternoon bus. Now, the kids on my morning bus were all very quiet, very, nice kids, didn't bother anybody, just kind of listened to their music and just chilled, sat in their seats. But then on my way home bus, this bus was some shit, man. The kids on this bus were demons. They'd fucking get on the bus, they'd fucking jump seat to seat. When we'd hit speed bumps, they'd jump and smack the ceiling with their fucking heads. They were just psychos. Some of them would fucking sit in the back and smoke their weed or their cigarettes, and the bus driver wouldn't do shit about it. He just didn't care. He let them smoke on the bus. And yeah, needless to say, everyone on that bus was a straight fucking moron. And that, my friends, is why your boy Luna fit right in. I made friends with everyone on that bus real quick. Within the first week of high school, I was good friends with everybody on that bus. Because back then I was just as much of a dumbass as everybody else. And yeah, when I heard that you could smoke weed on the bus and not stay in your seat and move around and talk to everybody and do whatever you want, I was like, oh, this is the shit. I can't wait to ride the school bus home every day. Now let me just stress this one point, okay? This goes without saying, and I'm going to sound like a little bit of a boomer here, but wear your fucking seatbelt on the bus. Because I am lucky my neck didn't get fucking snapped with the amount of times we'd hit speed bumps. And I would be out of my seat in the aisle and I'd fall over. It was just so dumb. Anyway, back to the story, okay? So yeah, this was any other school day. I got up on the bus, went there in the morning, went through my school day, really nothing out of the ordinary. But on my last period, okay, the last period of the day, the last class, I had study hall, which was basically just a period where we'd sit around and do nothing or do homework. And me, I would usually choose the nothing card. So I was sitting at my desk in study hall, scrolling Twitter, thinking about what time I wanted to upload my video that day, listening to music, just really not doing a whole lot, right? Just kind of sitting there. And I had this friend who sat 2 tables down from me who rode my school bus on the way home. His name was Harry, okay? Now, Harry was probably the craziest kid on the whole damn school bus. That kid didn't give two fucks. And he kept looking at me and smiling during study hall. And it was kind of creepy. I was like, why the fuck does he keep looking at me and smiling? I couldn't tell if he had something devious planned or if he had a crush on me. I really couldn't understand what he was trying to do with his face. So I stood up and I quietly walked over to his table and I whisper in his ear and I'm like, Harry, why do you keep staring at me like you want to fuck me? What are you doing? He's like, oh, fucking gross, dude. No, I have something in my backpack I want to tell you about. And I was like, you could have just texted me instead of staring at me for 10 fucking minutes. And he's like, whatever. I got salvia. Now, if you haven't heard of that, it's a substance that you can ingest, smoke, and it makes you trip balls for a short amount of time. But the trips are usually very, very not good, very, very horrible trips. And they sometimes lead to you jumping out of windows, because that's something I've seen online with salvia. It's also pretty bad for you from what I've heard. And they made it illegal in my state not too long ago. So yeah, not a good thing to smoke, okay? So when he told me he had salvia, my first response was why? And he's like, cuz I want to trip balls on the way home. And I was like, wait, on the way home? You're going to do it on the bus? He's like, yeah, man, you want to do it with us? I'm like, who's us? And he names off like 4 people that are on board with this shit. They're going to trip on salvia on the school bus. And I was like, dude, just wait like 10 minutes. Do it at your house. Have everyone like come to your house. He said, nah, they live too far away. They can't walk. They can't bike there. Like, we're just going to do it on the bus. I was like, dude, what if the trip doesn't wear off by the time you're home? Like, you're going to be a potato in the back seat, like not able to get up. He's like, no, man, don't scare me like that. It's going to be fine. It's going to last like 5 minutes. My stop's like 15 minutes from the school. It'll be fine. And I was like, all right, man, if you say so. He's like, you down? I'm like, probably not, but I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. So fast forward, about 20, 30 minutes later, school lets out for the day. The bell rings. Everyone runs to their lockers, gets their stuff out, goes to the school buses to go home. Everyone was real excited to get home, including me. I got on the school bus, got to my seat in the back. Harry sat across from me, and like 10 minutes later, everyone got on the bus, and we were driving away from the school to go home. And immediately, Harry jumps right into it. This dude opens up his backpack, he pulls out this little bong he has, he pulls out this bag of salvia, and he starts packing that shit up, and everyone gathers around in their seats, and they're all like waiting to smoke it. And I'm sitting there debating like if I want to do this or not, because I had done it before and had a fucking awful trip, but I thought, oh, well, maybe it'd be different this time. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know how smoking that shit on a school bus would make it any better. But for some reason, my mind was telling me, oh, it'll be different this time. And yeah, I eventually convinced myself to do it. Because I saw Harry do it and then another friend of mine, and they were okay so far, and they were giggling and having fun. So I thought, you know what? My turn. So I had my friend hand me the bong, and I took a rip of this shit without second thought. And the minute I got done exhaling it, like the minute the smoke left my lungs, it felt like my body started to like disintegrate, if that makes sense. It felt like I was literally fading away like in the Endgame movie, bro. Like some absolute weird shit. And then when I thought about it really hard and I like told myself I'm not disintegrating, relax, I stopped. It like all went back to where it was supposed to be. Like all the pieces came back together and I wasn't disintegrating anymore. And then as I was looking around, I knew that I was still on the school bus. I still knew that. But for some reason, all I could see was this new like reality that I had just put myself in, where the entire school bus turned into like this big, bright, fiery orange/red like sun. Like the bus turned into a sun. And I know that makes no sense, but that's kind of what this whole fucking trip was. But we were sitting in the middle of the sun in seats. So the bus turned into a goddamn big sun, basically, that we were sitting in. But that also means everything was on fire. And when I noticed that, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And it's so weird because one half of me was terrified because it felt like everything was on fire. But the other half of me knew that I was tripping. So I was able to like bring myself back to reality a little bit. So I was having like a half horrible trip and a half like okay trip, if that makes sense. And the whole time I'm telling myself, don't worry, you're not in a ball of fire. You're not in a ball of fire. Like, it's just a school bus. It's just a school bus. And trying to tell myself, you know, I'm just in a normal reality. But also, I'm trying to let the trip take over a little bit so I can enjoy it. And all in all, the whole trip was just like me telling myself I'm not going to die. And then the other half being like, whoa, I'm sitting in a big fiery ball of death right now. And eventually, it started to wear off. I came back to reality. I don't even know how long later, probably 5 or 10 minutes. And I came back to reality after everybody else did because everyone else hit it before me. So I was the last one to kind of come out of it. So when I came out of it, everyone was kind of staring at me and like, you know, looking at me, smiling. And I look at them and I was like, how were your guys' trips? And they were like, good. How was yours? And I was like, good. Why? And they were like, dude, you look like you just saw like a demon or something. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, your eyes were like fucking wide open the whole time. And I was like, really? And my friend was like, dude, you didn't blink one time. Like, I shit you not. Like, your eyes were like bloodshot. And I was like, wow, I didn't even notice that. And after this, we didn't do any more because we realized, like, all right, this is not some shit we should just be casually fucking with. And yeah, my friend put the bong away and we kind of just rode the rest of the bus ride out as normal. I was actually the last stop on the bus every day. So I had plenty of time to kind of think about what just happened and like come down from the whole thing and just like think about it. So I had like a good 25 minutes of that after all my friends got off. And yeah, after I got dropped off home, I jumped on Xbox and told all of my friends what just happened. They didn't believe me. I don't blame them. That sounds insane. I get it. But yeah, like looking back, all I can think about throughout this entire experience is how fucking insane my friends were back then and how careless my bus driver was. That dude would literally let people smoke cigarettes, smoke weed, smoke fucking salvia, trip, jump up and down on the seats and fucking jump seat to seat and basically party on his bus all day, every day, and not say a word about it. Like, literally, he would look up and see this shit happening, and he'd be like, and go back to his drive. The man gave no fucks. I don't even remember his name, but he gave no fucks. Moral of the story is, guys, don't do any of the shit I talked about in this story time. All in all, I was a big dummy back then, and just learn from my idiotness. That's not a word. And if for some reason any of you guys are bus drivers watching this video, don't be like my bus driver back in the day. Yeah. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.